So they said that Joel Linton was not given a red card for the forearm to Jorginho's head because his hand was not used as a weapon. What is that?
What is he, Jackie Chan?
What is...
Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Yahoo Footballing Weekly, the global award-nominated podcast with me, Yahoo columnist Neil Humphreys.
And me, Yahoo editor Chia and Keong, and we have back with us, Eddy.
Hey, hi guys.
Lion City Sailors fan, Arsenal fan. Most important question to kick things off. How does it feel to be part of a global award-nominated podcast?
I think it's great. And I think a lot of credit, of course, goes to you guys, but also the guests. I mean, I'm not talking about myself, but I've really enjoyed when you brought like Sori on, James Walton on, because these people are in the thick of the sports industry. And
as are you, don't be modest.
What you get to hear from them, I think, are very, very unique insights. And, you know, I was a bit skeptical when Sorion came on, but I thought, like, okay, he's not a football athlete, but, you know.
He's an athlete, yeah.
He's an athlete nonetheless, and I thought he brought so much colour to the show. Yeah.
Well, we do continue to have diverse voices on the show every week, which is why we've been nominated.
Yep, that's why we're nominated for the Diverse Voices Award in the Global Sports Podcast Awards, which is annual Sports Podcast Awards. So great. I think we are up against strong competition.
Ian Wright.
Ian Wright. We got Troy Deeney. We got Jermaine Defoe. But yeah, it's nice to be among them. And the actual awards, the results will be announced next month in February. But they have a public voting portion, which you can help by going to this website here to vote for us. Every vote counts, I think. So if you think our podcast is good, you enjoy our podcast,
and if you don't, still vote. Do it for Singapore, do it for Asia. We've got almost no chance of winning. A bit like Arsenal, which is a shocking segue for his boys, Arsenal. 5-0, Crystal Palace, back with a bang. Happy?
No chance of winning is West Ham. Slight chance of winning. Slight chance of winning is Arsenal.
Top six.
Slight chance of winning. I would say that Man City and Liverpool are still the front runners.
Yep.
I've been particularly impressed by Liverpool and Man City because they've been missing so many players.
Yep.
Right. But Arsenal 5-0, it had to be done. I think had the result not gone our way again, I think I would be in your camp of no chance. But now, slight chance.
Hey, they're going to win the Europa League. Don't worry about West Ham. Martinelli, very pleased to see Martinelli back in form, scoring. They need that.
Off the bench as well. I mean, he didn't start, so I thought, you know, he was like being dropped for his poor form or something. But he scored 2 identical goals and really reminiscent of Thierry Henry, I think. Yeah,
and I think the fact that the match against Crystal Palace, you had different players scoring, and it's a good sign. I mean, Piers Morgan has been harping in his Twitter, like, oh, you need to sign a striker. Arsenal need a striker. Why haven't you all signed a striker yet? But you know, I think this match shows that, you know, at least you can rely on set pieces. Like Gabriel has scored 2 goals with the
10 times Arsenal scored from corners this season, more than anybody
else. That's a stat I was about to do. So good for them. I think if you want to show the best sides of Arsenal, is that third goal. When David Raya threw the ball, and then Gabriel Jesus saw one pass, and then Leandro Trossard just scored.
It's like great vision on the counter attack and everything.
I think Raya has improved since a wobbly start. I think he has been more stable nowadays, and I think and I feel that if all the players from first or the first 11 can contribute well. Don't rule out Arsenal.
No, I'm ruling them out. I'm ruling them out right now. It's not going to happen. I don't want to be all Piers Morgan, but without the striker, I can't see it happening. And I wanted to ask you this, speaking of West Ham, when you stole Declan Rice for an absolute bargain. He's played every single English Premier League match since, started every game, went off with a little bit of muscle tightness. There's been no clarity since what it may be. Are you worried?
Of course. I think Declan Rice is one of those players where he feels like 2 players on the pitch. And when I watched West Ham, I saw his importance. I wondered how that would transport over to Arsenal, but you've seen it for Arsenal as well, which just goes to show that this guy is a top class player. So he's kind of irreplaceable. It's made worse by the fact that Thomas Partey is also knees made of glass. So we don't have him. And we saw also the Arsenal team kind of struggles when 1 or 2 players are out. So very worrying if Rice doesn't come back.
Yeah. This is what happens when you take the best player from West Ham's academy. This is my violin playing just for him. But no, I can't see it. I like Arsenal. I love Arteta. I just feel there's not enough strength in depth there. I know I've been saying it all season, so I'll be consistent on it. I don't think they're going to sign a striker now.
I don't think so.
It's tough to sign a top striker.
Financial fair play. We talked about this before. It's the big sort of sword of Damocles that stands over everybody at the moment. They're all terrified of what's happening to Everton and Forest. So I can't see that happening. But as always, let us know what you think. Can Arsenal still win the league? Send your comments to
Yahoo Southeast Asia on YouTube, Yahoo SG, Yahoo_MY on Twitter, Yahoo SEA on TikTok.
Just last note about that game. Crystal Palace, brief one. I know that Roy Hodgson, his days may be numbered, but I really hope, give Roy Hodgson his dignity. Just let him go at the end of the season. Palace are not going to be relegated. There are easily 3 worse teams than Palace. They're not going down. They'll be safe. They'll be boring, but they'll be safe. Let him go to the end of the season, retire with dignity, and bring in Graham Potter, who was at the game.
Yeah.
Perfect replacement. I think he'd do a good job at Palace. I think he had a shocking time at Chelsea. That wasn't his fault. I think he's an extremely competent manager. He'll do well there.
In a sense, Potter is a bit like Hodgson. I think a good mid-table manager.
Played better football though.
Obviously played better football. But because I think Roy Hodgson has spent his whole career doing very well with mid-table or even relegation threatened teams. He against when he was at Liverpool for a very short while, and then when he was with England, I think his style of play is very reactive, very, I wouldn't say negative, but it's very defensive, and it doesn't allow players those good players to express themselves, and that's where he struggles with things. But if the whole team feels that we are punching above our weight, we'll listen to whatever you do, we'll follow whatever instructions Roy gives, and then they become a very good side like Crystal Palace or even Blackburn in a few years ago. So I think as a manager, I think he's B level. I think not A level, but B level. Very very decent manager for the right kind of club.
Yeah,
and I really think that he should get a good, like you say, a good send off.
Yeah.
The end of the season, everybody clap him off. I think that would be best.
Couldn't agree more. Now let's move on to an A++ manager, Jurgen Klopp. Now I wrote in a column this week that you can read on Yahoo. I've said this before actually, and it seems a bit left field, but I still believe that Jurgen Klopp is not getting enough respect. I still believe that. Even now, I still believe that man is an absolute genius. Right? An absolute genius. He doesn't have Manchester City's budget. He doesn't have Manchester City's squad. He loses the best technical player in his team in Trent Alexander-Arnold, pulls out this Conor Bradley from nowhere, does an exceptional job at right back, picks up an assist. On the other flank, you've lost Robertson, who's been one of their key players in recent years. No problem. Push over Gomez. Job done. You've now arguably got the best centre-back pairing in the country. It wasn't that long ago when we were saying, oh, Van Dijk, he's washed up, he's not the same player. People have short memories. He's back to his best, doing exceptionally well with Konate. You've got McAllister having the game of his life, both forward and back against Bournemouth, and you've got plenty of goals in Jota, Nunes, and so on. I still believe that Klopp is not getting his plaudits. What he's doing at Liverpool right now is staggering. And to be 5 points clear and still have people say, it's only a matter of time before Manchester City. It's only a matter of time. To me, it's borderline disrespectful.
Well, I'm glad you think about thinking that way. So, but I tell you what. So, one day before the Bournemouth match, Liverpool play Arsenal in the FA Youth Cup.
Yep.
Arsenal were last year's runner-up, I think, in the game. They beat them 7-1. It's the under-18 team, though. So, and Klopp has transformed the whole system at the Liverpool academy from under 18 to the senior side. They play his style of football.
Brilliant.
Gurgen pressing. And that's why people like Conor Bradley, and then you can see Owen back, Lee Clark's son, what's it called? Whatever, Clark.
And even if you go back a bit further, Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott, just seamlessly slip into the team.
They might take a while to get used to the pace of the thing, but they know the style of football that Klopp demands of every player in Liverpool, and that's why And that's why I think and that makes them don't panic buy during transfer.
Yeah.
Because they know that even if we encounter injury problems, we have youngsters who can, if we put him, he can play our style of football, and then we'll see whether he can make it or not.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more, which is the complete opposite of Chelsea, of Manchester United. Clear philosophy, clear playing style, on the front foot, gegen pressing, all the way up, as you say, from the youth academy to the first team. It makes the transition just that little bit smoother between academy and first team compared to other clubs.
And we couldn't see it for the first few years. I think we are just saying that we have a great senior team. The youth team were hit and miss. But now we can see every time we bring up a player from the youth team to the senior team, we are sort of like, okay, I think this guy has something.
He doesn't look out of his depth.
No, I think here's a controversial thing. I think he's the best manager Liverpool have ever had because I know he hasn't won the trophies, but the gap is wider now. The gap is wider between. He doesn't have the resources. When other managers were there, Shankly, Paisley, Fagan, Dalglish, they were the top team anyway. They had the best resources. They paid the highest salaries. They were the best club in Britain, with Manchester United flagging. So they had more to work with to begin with. He doesn't have the resources that Chelsea has, that Manchester City has, that Manchester United have. And he keeps, or even Newcastle, and yet he keeps delivering. I think he's a phenomenon. Absolute phenomenon. Yeah. What do you think, Eddie?
No, I think he's a very good manager. And I think if he...
Big compliment.
Yeah. He's a very good manager.
He's a very good manager.
Yeah.
And just look at the way that Liverpool survived the early scares when they played Arsenal in the FA Cup and then came back to win. That was a game where I looked at the lineups and I thought, definitely Arsenal are going to win this. Van Dijk wasn't playing. We had a few youngsters at the back.
Jarrell Quansah.
Yeah, and then after that, Conor Bradley came on. I was like, that surely is the cue for us to kill them, right? It was 0-0 at the time. But no, Conor Bradley came on and killed us. So
and they're still in the running for 4 trophies. I mean, it's extraordinary. But as always, let us know what you think. Now, I'm going to tell you what I think. VAR. I'm up to here.
He insisted me to put this topic in for this day.
Now, I know Eddie jokes about West Ham and that, but anybody knows me, follows me, reads me. I'm not a massive West Ham fan as I've got older. Yeah. I'm kind of on the fence. But that was a one-time West Ham against Sheffield United, wasn't it? Yeah. I'm nearly kicking the TV. If you haven't seen it, I'm sure you have seen it. West Ham completely in the ascendancy, 1-0 up, then 2-1 up with about 10, 12 minutes to go. Both teams down to 10 men. I had no issue with that. Then Sheffield United get this absurd penalty. I mean, absurd. These days, you've only got a goalkeeper. You've only got to blow on a goalkeeper, and it's a free kick, right? Yeah. This guy leads with his arm, splits open his nose. I mean, Areola, the West Ham keeper, got blood pouring down his face. I mean, it's a 50-50. It could go either way. Straight to the spot. I'm like, are you on drugs? The guy's got a busted nose. He doesn't know what day of the week it is. On the replays, you can clearly see the arm coming across. That's when VAR has to objectively intervene and just say to the referee, have another look. Just have another look, because I'm not sure here. All right, fine. Let's just say, for argument's sake, that is a penalty. It can go either way. 2 minutes later, Jared Bowen goes up the other end, rugby tackle to the floor, 2 arms around his belly, the most obvious penalty ever,
and no penalty.
Not given. Either give both or give neither. But I think this is what's driving people mad with VAR. It's just the lack of consistency, not even week to week, minute to bloody minute. There's no consistency. What do you think?
It's terrible, as you said. So at the start of the season, I was chatting with Neil and I said to him, my big hope for this year is that VAR, finds their groove again. Just make it a bit less infuriating for everyone. Goodness. And one of the biggest concerns was consistency from match to match. So how is it that, Onana's one is not a penalty, but this one's a penalty, blah, blah, blah. But now, as you say, it's got worse because it's in the same game. Right? And there are some games this season that really stand out. So the Newcastle versus Arsenal one, there was I read the lawyer, right? So I read the grounds of decision and all that. So they said that Joel Linton was not given a red card for the forearm to Jorginho's head because his hand was not used as a weapon. What is that?
What is he, Jackie Chan? What does that even mean?
Officially, that was what they said. So I'm like, what the heck?
Criminal,
what is
criminal
lethal weapon now? Jean-Claude Van Damme.
The hand was not used as a weapon. I was like, that's the forearm was not used as a weapon. Verbatim. And I'm like, if you're going through that kind of mental gymnastics to justify your crap decisions, right, then honestly, you should just join the Olympics, right?
We've got to register them as lethal weapons now, like Mel
Yeah.
Gibson, have we?
And I just want to say that all this inconsistency has bred that kind of paranoia among the fans. I do follow the fans in Singapore, the Liverpool fans in Singapore and in UK, and every little slight they get of those, the Premier League is against us, they don't want us to win the league, which obviously is an overreaction.
Yeah, it feeds into the paranoia.
But it feeds into the paranoia every single decision, and then they'll say, "Oh, last time, how come Arsenal didn't get this decision? How come Man City didn't get that decision?" And they will remember everything because they can get it easily from social media online.
Yeah.
And that feeds every time they say, now it's just any decision goes against us. The FA, the Premier League doesn't want us to win. It's a very bad kind of sentiment, a very negativity it's not what watching football or supporting a club is for.
No. And speaking of supporting a club, last point. When I was back in the UK over Christmas, I went to the Tottenham Bournemouth game. And that's the first time I've been to a live EPL game since VAR. And it's not it is a pain. It is a pain for the people that matter most, the people in the stadium.
Yeah.
You're in the dark, you can't see replays, you don't know what's going on. It just says VAR check, so you've put all your emotions on hold. It's an absolute pain in the backside.
There's no commentator explaining, right? Oh, that could be that could be that. But
You've got
you're
no
just in the
idea.
stadium, you're like,
So no disrespect, but a kid in Singapore is more clued in to what's going on than someone in the stadium in London. How can that even be a thing?
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of farces, let's wrap this up with the Saudi Pro League. We better do it because it's going to collapse soon and then we won't be able to talk about it anymore. So just to recap, as you know, Jordan Henderson, tail between his legs, back after 5 months, now at Ajax. He's not going to be the last one, is he?
No, we heard from Aymeric Laporte, the former Man City, he says that there are a lot of disgruntled players who in the Saudi league, and I know who can blame them. I think even I was surprised at how few the fans are, how little the fan crowd is in the Saudi league. I would have thought you can get normally you thought 10,000, 15,000 should be no problem among the Saudi league. But 600 people, 700 people, that's what Jordan Henderson is playing. And then the facilities are not up to mark. And I'm sure the coaches are all B-listers, C-listers. So I'm sure the coaching, the training isn't up to his satisfaction after how many years with Klopp, and then now you transfer. Obviously, there's a lot of unhappiness, and I'm sure the families may be struggling to settle at the same time. It's nothing as what the millions that the Saudi have thrown to them, and I think everything can be solved. And I think that this is a really wake up call. And if the Saudi league doesn't continue to, if you don't improve the way the league is handled, it's a problem, man.
Couldn't agree more. I think you're right. I think the Saudi Pro League, I think the bubble has burst already. Because you notice there hasn't been an exodus in this transfer window because players talk. Players' wives talk. Agents, okay, they're just about the money. But the players and the wives, they're all talking and they're all saying the same thing. They're all leaking stories to the Spanish media, to the British media. I didn't know until this week that Jordan Henderson never lived in Saudi Arabia.
Bahrain.
He lived in Bahrain and commuted because it was better for his family. I didn't know that Steven Gerrard still lives in Bahrain and commutes back and forth from Saudi. Other players do the same. They talk about 3 hours traffic every day because they don't want to live in Saudi. There's been wives talking about the repressive nature and the lack of rights for women. All of these things are starting to come out now. So it's not about the money anymore. It's not enough. It's not enough to keep. I think the bubble has burst.
Now the only thing that can send a person to Saudi league is a financial fair play.
Yeah, they got to
like
offload
Newcastle
it.
say, I heard they need to sell Almiron, is not wrong.
Yeah,
if
there's a rumor.
Almiron goes to the Saudi league, then you know why.
I think I'll say a word of fairness. For the Saudi league, I think as with any developing league, it needs a bit of time, and it's much easier when tons of money is poured into the project, as it should be. But I think Aymeric Laporte did mention that some of the things were quality of life,
Correct,
and not just from the country itself, but even within the club. He said that the executives didn't really know how to look after the player and all that. And I think that one, it just comes down to experience. I think when you go to clubs like Real Madrid, Barcelona, Arsenal, that
You know,
these are clubs with years, decades of experience
Correct.
of how to treat like stars with huge egos, right? But Saudi Arabia obviously is new to them. So I think we should give it a bit of a chance.
But that's the issue, though, isn't it, Eddie? Because if you're Jordan Henderson, you've played for all these teams, Benzema, you've only got 2 or 3 years left of your career. You haven't got the patience to deal with this. It's one thing if you're a young kid coming through, 18, 19, 20, little bit of a lack of professionalism, facilities not great, training facilities are not great. If you're 33, 34, you're used to a certain way of playing.
Yes, but that's why I love Aymeric Laporte and how honest he was. He said that, of course, there are things that the club can't take care of as well as they do in Europe, but I'm here for other reasons. and you know exactly what he means by other reasons. But it's refreshing, right? Refreshing honesty that he just says it.
I prefer the honesty. Which is where Henderson went wrong. All right, let's wrap up with a bit of honesty. FA Cup previews this weekend.
Spurs versus Man City.
Let's have some predictions. Right, what do we got first?
I know what you're predicting.
Tottenham, Man City. What do you think? That's FA Cup, right?
Yeah, FA Cup. FA Cup. I think Spurs might take it.
Really?
1-0.
Wow.
I don't know.
I think it's going to be a big. I'm going to say 3-2 Man City. I think it's going to be a bit of a high-scoring game.
It's going to be a draw.
Okay.
Then they repeat.
I think then they'll repeat and then Man City will win it.
All right, what else have we got? We got Liverpool, Chelsea.
Oh, I think we are at home and Anfield. I think we'll probably take it maybe 1-0 or 2-0. Yeah.
Same.
Easy. I think Liverpool 2-0. I think their defence is solid. They've tightened up at the back. 2-0 easy. Last one, your boys, Forest against Arsenal.
Big banana skin there, honestly. I shudder to say it, but I think we might draw this game. Because Forest are very good on the counter-attack.
No, I've got Arsenal winning this. Easy. I think 2 or 3, actually.
I think Arsenal 1-0.
I hope to share the same optimism.
See, we're balanced on this show. We're balanced. I give at least 2 goals to Arsenal. What about you?
Yeah, I think 2-1 to Arsenal.
Brilliant. As always, what do you guys think? Send all of your comments, predictions to
Yahoo Southeast Asia on YouTube, Yahoo SG, Yahoo_MY on Twitter, and Yahoo SEA on TikTok.
Thanks very much for coming on, Eddie, as always.
Thank you for inviting.
Thanks. And remember to vote for us.
Yes. Very good. Well done. I forgot. Vote.
28th of January is the deadline.
That's
vote for
good.
us.
Last bit of a canvassing for the votes. Yes, please vote for us. And please come back for part 2. Eddie will be with us talking about his boys there, the Lion City Sailors, and all things Singapore football and Asia Cup.
Yeah.
See you there.
See you.